Hello, beautiful one. I'm here to talk about toxic people. 5 things to do when you have toxic people in your life. Okay, so again, 5 things to do when you have toxic people in your life. Number 1, number 1 is don't have toxic people in your life. So that would mean walk away. You don't need to have toxic people in your life. Life has enough challenges. You have your own challenges. Life has enough challenges just on its own. You have enough stuff to figure out with your own personal development, your own personal stuff, your own personal healing. And then even when you have yourself centered and things are beautiful, life has storms and hurricanes and earthquakes that just kind of come around. And if you have toxic people, it makes it that much harder. So number 1 is just don't have toxic people in your life. So walk away from them. Don't have them. Walk away and let the toxic people go. So that is number 1 advice on toxic people is don't have them. But unfortunately, a lot of times the toxic people in our lives are people that are close to us. They're close family, they're friends, close friends. So what do we do in these situations when we just can't just walk away and just easily not have toxic people in our lives? And a lot of times the toxic people are people we've loved, people we've grown up with, our family, close friends. All right, so what do we do? Okay, so number 2 thing to do when you have toxic people in your life is to raise your light. All right, so we know that you can't meet darkness with darkness, it just creates more darkness. So if there's something dark, you have to create light, and that's what is going to bring forth more light. So metaphorically, you need to raise your light. And how do we do that? Well, there's many ways. Number 1 is to raise your vibration. I talk about breath work as a great way. When you slow down your breath and you breathe slower, you can do the 3-point breath. You inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Conscious breathing, mindfulness, when you're in the present moment, these things help raise your vibration. When you raise your vibration, you're raising your light. Other things to do are to listen to beautiful music. What kind of music are you listening to? Is it uplifting? Put things on that make you feel good, that make you feel wonderful. Watch movies that make you feel good. Watch things that make you laugh. Laugh. Laughter helps your vibration. Spend time in nature. Inhale the good vibrations. Just go in and inhale, and when you're outside, don't just look at it, receive it. Just take it in and go, receive. Raise your light. Connect with the divine. Whatever spiritual practice that is for you, use your spiritual practice to connect to the divine energy and find the love and the light within yourself. So when you raise your vibration, it helps to work on the toxic people in your life. So what happens when you raise your vibration and you raise your light, the people in your life have 2 options. They either have to raise with you, and they're inspired and they will eventually raise their light with you. They might not be perfect, but they will attempt to change, and they will raise their vibration to come along with you. And then that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So you can't change another, but you can change yourself. As you change yourself, that is how you change another. So if you're in a close relationship with somebody, work on you first. Raise your light, raise your vibration, and see if that will just help them take a look and make changes along with you. And that is one beautiful way. The other option people do is sometimes when you raise your light, they will fall out because they can't handle the light. It is kind of like it is that quote, the Marianne Williamson quote that Nelson Mandela did on his inaugurational speech, that we are not afraid. I don't know the exact words of it, but it's not our darkness that we're most afraid of, it's our light. That who are we to be amazing, phenomenal, blah, 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 amazing people. So that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes when we raise our light, other people, they're afraid of their own light within themselves, so they will go. So you can't control that, but what you can do is control you and increase your light. So that is number 2 thing to do. And also be aware that sometimes when that happens, when people do fall out, sometimes it'll just peacefully happen, and they just kind of fall out, and they just won't be around as much. The other thing that can happen too is that person will, if they've been toxic, because sometimes toxic people get energy from you. They are sucking your energy. And you know this. When you start raising your light, you start becoming aware. And you start, when you're around people, you realize, because you're more in the present moment, you think, oh, I don't feel that good. Or when they leave, you're like, my energy feels drained. Or when you meet people, you will feel people's vibration. Do they have a good vibration? Do they have a bad vibration? You will just feel those things. So you change that way. But when you've made those changes, sometimes if they've been getting energy from you and if they've been sucking your energy, when they do leave, there might be some chaos because they're used to that extra energy. So just something to be aware of. But you, again, all you can do is control you. All right, number 3 thing to do when you have toxic people in your life is protect your energy. You don't have to give your energy to people. You can be aware that this is your energy and this is your light, because sometimes what happens when we raise our light and we are increasing our energy and we're feeling good and we're doing all these wonderful things for us, we go and we're around people that are draining our energy and then it's gone. And they get all of it and we're just left depleted. Well, we don't want to deplete that energy because it doesn't serve us and it doesn't serve other people that are benefited by our energy and our light, and we're not able to do our life work and we're not able to do those things. So you can protect your energy. There's a lot of things you can do. You can look online. They've got different wonderful ways. One way is to put a bubble around yourself. Imagine the light around you and actually put a physical bubble around you and see that other people can't get into the space. Another one that you can use, this one was one that was taught to me by Michelle Rogers just yesterday. Thank you very much, Michelle. I hope it's okay if I share this. But another one is to imagine your skin. You can imagine your skin as diamonds that's radiating light, so it's deflecting any negativity. Or you can imagine your skin, or you can put a bubble around you that is a mirror, so that when that mirror comes and people are deflecting negative energy, it just deflects back to them and it mirrors back to them. So you can energetically kind of protect yourself. You also can just physically do things when you're around people, just crossing your arms. That's actually a way of protecting your energy. And you will sometimes naturally notice that you kind of are doing this to your arms. You can actually just even cross your fingers. That is another, just a smaller thing to do to energetically protect your energy. So grounding is another great way, is to make sure you're spending time grounding your feet and to the earth and grounding your energy so you can keep it. So that's number 3 thing to do to protect your energy. Number 4 thing to do to protect your energy from toxic people is don't feed them. You don't want to feed the toxic people, because if you feed them, then they're going to keep coming around for more food, right? So how do we feed toxic people? Well, one is we argue. Sometimes the toxic people in our lives like to argue, and they like to argue, and then eventually, even if you don't like to argue, eventually we'll argue back and you get hooked. And then when you argue, you just feed. You're feeding them. You're feeding the toxicity. You're also losing your good feeling. You're losing your energy. You're losing your light when you get sucked into the arguments. So don't feed them. Don't argue. You don't need to argue. You can choose not to argue. You can just choose to give love and walk away, or just say, yes, you're right, and not argue with them. Those are choices you can make. The other thing is choose not to give them attention. If someone is saying toxic things to you or things that are mean, and then what I would do a lot of time in my life, I would fight it. I'm like, I don't deserve to be treated like that. I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you give it attention, it's just like a child that's misbehaving. If they don't get attention, they'll seek bad attention, and any attention is good attention. So don't give them any food, which would be arguing or attention. Number 5, change your circle. So start surrounding yourself with people that are not toxic. Sometimes we go through life and we don't realize how many people are toxic, especially if you grew up in toxic environments. We don't realize. So when we start becoming aware, make new friends. Go out and do the things you love to do. If you've always wanted to take a dance class, take a dance class. If you've always been interested in art, take an art class. If you've always wanted to try a new sport, do that. Or maybe go join a club or get on Meetup or do something that is inspiring. Go for a walk and join a hiking club. Do something that you've always been interested. Sometimes we remember that as something that we like to do when we were children. Do something that excites you and make some new friends. And when you're seeking the friends, be aware if you feel good around them. People should energize you. The people in your inner circle should make you feel good. When you're around them, you should feel energized. You should feel better after you leave them. They should contribute to you. They should support you. They should say beautiful things to you. When you're feeling down, they should be the ones that are uplifting you. That is what you want to seek. When you start having more positive, supportive, energizing people in your life, the toxic people start to fade away, and then you also make different choices about what you want on your close circle. And then related to that is just limit. You can limit the amount of time you spend with the toxic people so that you start spending more time with the people that energize you. And it doesn't mean that the people that are in your family or your close friends that you have to just cut them and say, I've disowned this person, I don't want to be around them. Just limit the time you spend and protect yourself. So something that I do is when I know that I'm going to be around someone that is toxic and that likes to argue, I will prepare myself. I will do the things that I do for me. It is sound meditations. I will put my energy around me. I will actually go in and visualize it so that I'm prepared, and I'll visualize myself in that environment and handling it so that now when people are here and they're being chaotic and they're being toxic, I just will raise my vibration, so I kind of fly over it and I watch it and I have empathy for them, but I don't need to engage and I don't need to change it. And it's taken me a long time. I am not perfect. I'm still practicing all this, but these are 5 things to do to help deal with toxic people in your life. So beautiful ones, the important thing to do is to become as beautiful and powerful and love-filled human beings as you can, because you have important purpose in this life, you have important gifts, and you have something inside that is beautiful that only you have. And be around people that support you and become one of those people that supports others. And most importantly, become a person that supports you. You should be your biggest supporter. So if you're in the mirror and somebody says something toxic to you, or you had people saying things to you as a child, don't repeat those things to yourself. When you make a mistake, don't tell yourself anything that's negative. Don't look in the mirror and say anything that's negative to you. Become your greatest cheerleader. Become your greatest supporter, so that make sure that you are not the toxic person that is in your life against you. Become your supporter. Love yourself. All right, that's it. Many more things, but those are just 5 things to do to protect yourself from toxic people and to have an amazing, beautiful life. All right, have a beautiful day. You're beautiful. You're powerful. You are amazing.